Welcome to my channel. So in today's topic we are going to discuss about the chemical equilibrium. So chemical equilibrium is a very important topic for your NEET and JEE exam. So here we will not be jumping on to detailed conclusion. So whatever required for the examination will be covered here. Okay, so what is meant by a chemical equilibrium? Equilibrium basically is of two types in general. One is chemical equilibrium and another one is physical equilibrium. But in our topic we are going to discuss about the chemical equilibrium. Why? Because it is very important topic for our NEET and JEE examinations. So we are including only chemical equilibrium. So say for example, reactants when they are converted into products. So there is a rate determined here. So we say that the speed of the reaction, we say the speed of the reaction is considered as rate, right? So the rate at which the reaction is proceeding towards forward direction will be exactly opposite, means equal and opposite with respect to backward reaction. That means that the rate of forward reaction and backward reactions are almost equal. Not almost, they are equal. The rate of forward reaction and as well as the backward reactions are equal. So rate of forward reaction and rate of backward reaction I will represent like this. So the rate of the forward reaction and the rate of the backward reaction are exactly equal and opposite. So why they are opposite? See, the forward reaction is proceeding towards the right and the backward reaction is proceeding towards the left side. So that is why they are equal but opposite. So here I am talking about only rate. Only rate will be equal. Okay, rate will be equal but not the amount. And concentration. Okay, they may be same or they may not be same. Okay, they may be or may not be. But see, we are talking about only the rate. Okay, so this is considered as the chemical equilibrium. Okay, so we can give a natural example. Say for example, imagine a river. So from that river, if you take even one glass of water and you drink it, fresh water, you take and drink it, will the level of that particular river will decrease? No. Why? Because there is a continuous flow of water. Whatever is taken, again it is coming back. So that particular situation or that point is considered as the equilibrium. That is physical equilibrium. Here in chemical equilibrium, reactants are converted into products and the products are getting back into reactants. Okay, that particular condition is considered as the equilibrium condition. Okay, this is all about the definition. Now, so in which type of reaction there is a chemical equilibrium? Very simple it is. There are actually two types of reactions. First one is reversible reaction. Second one, irreversible reaction. So in our chapter we will be studying only reversible. Why? Because see, chemical equilibrium exists in only in reversible cases only, but not in irreversible cases. Why? Because see, say for example, I'll take one example here. We can take neutralization reaction. So when a strong acid is reacted with a strong base, we get salt and water, NaCl and water. But if you combine that NaCl, salt and water, you will not get HCl and NaOH. Even if you try also, you cannot get that. Okay, so the reaction is proceeding only towards right. This type of reactions are considered as irreversible reaction. I will tell all the examples regarding that reversible and irreversible. Let's talk about in brief about irreversible reactions and what are the types present. First one, we have seen neutralization reactions. They are irreversible. And we can take, what do we take? We can take the precipitation reactions also. Precipitation reaction, which is irreversible. Precipitation reaction in which when you treat sodium chloride with silver nitrate. You will get what, ma? Silver chloride. You will get silver chloride and you will get Na1O3, sodium nitrate. So actually silver in +1 oxidation state is halogen selective Lewis acid that we will discuss later. So it selectively abstracts halogen from the system. So white color precipitate is formed here. this silver chloride is a white precipitate. Basically silver nitrate is used to test the hardness of the water. Why? Because it will react with that particular halogens and it will form the corresponding precipitates. So here in this precipitation reaction, when you combine this silver chloride and sodium nitrate, you won't be getting again the reactant, that is sodium chloride and silver nitrate, so which is not reversible, so it is considered as the irreversible reaction. This is one example. Next we can take combustion reaction. These are also irreversible. You can take the magnesium ring burn and burn in the presence of oxygen, you'll get what? Magnesium oxide. Okay, this is the type of combustion reaction. When you take that magnesium oxide, you won't be getting the starting materials again, you won't get the starting material. So this is one type of irreversible reaction. Another one is there, which is redox reaction. You can take redox reactions, you know very well, oxidation and reduction happens in the same system. So when you treat zinc with copper sulfate, you'll get copper in +2 oxidation state, you'll be getting zinc sulfate, liberating copper. So when you react these two, you won't be getting again the starting material. Okay, why? We will discuss in electrochemistry chapter, don't bother about it. You just remember these are all irreversible reactions. So we will move on to the reversible reaction, where chemical equilibrium plays a prominent role. Okay, so well-known reaction, that is N2 plus 3H2, that is formation of ammonia from the Braun-Hebert cycle. So it is a reversible reaction. Okay, this is reversible reaction. This is one best example we got here. This is nitrogen when reacted with the hydrogen, you will be getting what? Ammonia. So when ammonia will also, in course of time, after establishing a particular thing, this ammonia will give back to the products again. There exists an equilibrium which is called as chemical equilibrium. Okay, chemical equilibrium, and the constant is equilibrium constant is established there, where the rate of forward reaction and rate of backward reaction at a particular point will be equal. Okay, only the rate but not the concentration here, right? So another reaction you can take N2 plus O2 to NO. This is also one type of reversible reaction, where nitrogen combines with oxygen and form nitrous oxide. Okay, so after a course of time, equilibrium is established, where rate of forward reaction will be equal to the rate of backward reaction. So why now the question comes, why an equilibrium is established? What are the conditions? How do we identify that a particular system has established equilibrium? When a reaction is going on, how to say that particular reaction is in equilibrium? So one thing is, see, when we talk about the physical forces, whatever the forces are there, so whatever the force which is formed during the forward reaction is opposed by the backward reaction. So the forces becomes neutralized. See, one is coming from the left side and another is coming from the right side. Both the forces are equal and opposite. They are cancelled out. So one point is that, which is by using physical force we can say. Another thing is change in Gibbs free energy. Change in the Gibbs free energy at equilibrium will be 0. Change in Gibbs free energy at equilibrium will be 0. That is why, so there is no change in the Gibbs free energy. So if there is no change in the Gibbs free energy, we can say that the reaction is at equilibrium. At equilibrium, no further reaction is obtained. One point, we will discuss that in characteristics, but one point is, at equilibrium you should remember that both reactants and products are present. Both reactants and products are present in equilibrium. Yes or no? See here, N2 plus 3H2 gives rise to ammonia, and ammonia is giving rise to nitrogen and hydrogen again. So reactants and products are present. Both are present in equilibrium condition. So one graph I can plot against Gibbs free energy, that is delta G, and course of the reaction, that is the process of the entire reaction. You can take it as progress. So I'll write neatly. Change in Gibbs free energy and progress of the reaction. So what about the reactants? reactants are goes on decreasing. Okay, and this is the product one. So products will be goes on increasing. And this particular state where there is no change in the reactants and the products rate is considered as the equilibrium state. Okay, is considered as the equilibrium state. So the reactants are goes on decreasing initially and the products are increasing. And when we talk about the reversible reaction, products will be decreasing and reactions are increasing. So this is about the equilibrium in reversible reactions. Okay, we know that in like at equilibrium, rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reactions. Okay, let's take the formation of ammonia here, 2NH3. When we plot a graph at like see taking rate and time, so the rate of forward reaction, see here, this is the forward reaction, rate of forward reaction, and this is the rate of backward reaction. In forward reaction, reactants are continuously decreasing towards the product side, and see backward reaction, I mean in like see this one, it is goes on increasing. So we have taken forward reaction at the top and backward reaction at the bottom, and this particular point we can say it is equilibrium point. So this is the forward reaction. You can write it down here also. It will be easy for you if you write here, you will understand better. So here N2 plus 3H2 gives rise to 2NH3 here. Here you can take 2NH3 is giving rise to the products again, N2 plus 3H2. This is the forward, this is the backward reaction. Okay, this is the backward reaction. So this particular point where there is no change in the forward as well as the backward reaction rate is considered as the equilibrium point. Now we will discuss the characteristics of the chemical equilibrium. Characteristics of chemical equilibrium. So the first characteristic is, we know that the rate of forward reaction will be equal to the rate of the backward reaction. And another thing is, see, the concentrations will not change. Okay, at equilibrium concentration will not change. Concentration will not change and also not equalized. See here, we can take N2 plus 3H2. During the forward reaction we will get NH3, right? 2NH3. During the backward reaction we will be getting the starting material again. See here, will concentration is equalized. See here, number of moles you can take 1 plus 3, right? Here 4 moles are there. Here 2 moles are there. So we can say that the number of moles are not equalized. How can we say that the concentration also equals? We cannot say that. So that is the one point you should remember, where concentration will not change and also it is not equalized. And when we talk about the next point, that is catalyst at equilibrium. So don't compare the normal reaction and at the equilibrium point. So at equilibrium point, concentration, catalyst will not alter the equilibrium state. When you add catalyst also, it does not affect the equilibrium conditions. Okay, there are some factors where equilibrium is disturbed, that is like it goes either forward or backward reaction, that we will discuss later. Okay, so catalyst will not alter. You can write that point. Catalyst will not alter equilibrium. Catalyst will not alter that equilibrium. So the same diagram we have drawn, right, between rate and time. Okay, and time. See here, we got this type of graph. So when we talk about the catalyst, same it will be. So it does not alter. It indicates that the catalyst will not alter the equilibrium state or equilibrium point. So next point is law of mass action. Law of mass action. So what does it tell? So law of mass action it depicts that rate directly proportional to, that means rate is directly depending on active mass, concentration of the active mass. So what is active mass? I'll tell you what is active mass. Okay, before that we will take a reaction, a simple reaction, BB gives rise to product. These A and B are stoichiometric ratios. Okay, A and B are stoichiometric ratio. Let's take the rate. Now rate is directly proportional to concentration of A to the power A and concentration of take B to the power B. Here small a and small b are stoichiometric ratio. Stoichiometry. Okay, and whereas A and B are active mass. These A and B, capital A and B are active mass. Now I will tell you what is active mass. Say for example, you have taken 100 moles of reactants. You have taken 100 moles of reactants. In that 100 moles of the reactants, how many moles are reacted or how many moles are participated in a chemical reaction? That is nothing but the active mass. Active mass is the thing in which the reactants which are actively participating. Okay, say here 50 moles are participating in a reaction. 50 moles are participating in the reaction. These 50 moles constitute active mass. That is the thing here. Okay, so this is the, so when we remove this proportionality constant, what we will get? Rate is equal to any proportionality constant, you can keep A concentration of B, right, to the power A and to the power B. This is the law of mass action. This is the law of mass action. So next we will move on to the Le-Chatelier principle. It is very important principle and everyone knows it. We have been learning till from low grade. Let's see what is Le-Chatelier principle is about to tell us. So what is Le-Chatelier principle is saying? So when the reaction is at equilibrium, this is reactant and product, let's say, when the reaction is at equilibrium, so Le-Chatelier principle is saying that when you apply any change to that equilibrium, if you apply any change to that equilibrium, then that equilibrium will counter react, just like our Newton law. For every action there is equal and opposite reaction, right? So similarly, when you apply any change to that equilibrium, listen carefully, if you apply any change to that equilibrium, then that equilibrium will react in such a way that it will decrease or increase the effect. Say for example, I am telling you, if I increase the reactants, example I am taking, if I increase the reactants at equilibrium, so I am increasing A here, indirectly I am increasing A. So if I increase A, that is the number of, if I increase the A, number of moles of A, so then the product formation, will be more, right? If more number of reactants are present means, then the products formed also more. So see, what is that equilibrium doing? I am increasing reactant concentration or reactant moles. What is that equilibrium doing? Equilibrium is pushing the reactant towards the forward side in order to counter react that effect. That means when I increase the reactants rate, when I increase the number of moles of reactants, then the products formed also increase. Then the products formation increase. That means the reaction is going towards the forward reaction. So simply I can say that number of moles of reactants increases. Number of moles of reactants increases, or the reactants concentration increases, then it proceeds towards the forward reaction.